So we've just seen your film Accident Man, really well done on putting together a film. It's not an easy thing to do. I was really interested to know how this journey started for Accident Man and what first got you interested in this Mike Fallon character.
I'm about 14. I've just finished school. I go to the newsagent, which I always go to, have a look at the comics, and there it is, Toxic. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's a bit adult and violent. And it had these different strips in there, and one of them was Accident Man. And it would come out every month or every 2 weeks, can't remember. And I was just going back on the bus in Sutton Coldfield, back home, reading this comic, and I thought it was great. And I kept it, and the visuals in there were really great, and it was written by Pat Mills and Tony Skinner. Pat Mills had a hand in writing Judge Dredd, and it's very British, and I just loved it. And then as the years went on, I always thought, well, that would make a great film. Why doesn't somebody make it? And nobody did. And then as I started to get into the business, or dreamt about getting into the business, I started to think, man, maybe I could be Accident Man. Maybe I could be the one to make this film. And what I did at first was I would talk to producers about, there's this comic book, Accident Man, you should read it. I think we should make it into a film. And it would never get any traction. So then I thought, well, I'm just going to start writing the script. So my mate from school, Stu Small, an aspiring writer at the time, we just started writing it together. I adapted the comic book, literally as it was, just wrote it in screenplay format. Just as the comic, it was about 45 minutes long, so we had to expand it. And we did that together. I do a draft, Stu would do a draft, I'd do a draft. And there was no, we could just take our time with it, because we didn't have a stop date. We were just continually doing it. And this was before I'd optioned the rights.
Okay.
But, And then eventually I went to Pat Mills and Tony Skinner, and I asked them if I could option it for 3 years, and I put my own money in to buy it. I do remember walking in to see those guys, and the first thing they said was, "You look just like Mike Fallon." "You are Mike Fallon." I was like, hey, come on, guys, this is destiny. But yeah, so I optioned it, and then I had 3 years to get the film financed. I put my own money in, but I really wanted to do it, and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to pull it off because I'd never done anything like that before. I'd never produced anything before, never written anything before. I was thinking to myself, well, maybe at one point we'll get a proper writer in to write this. But, me and Stu, we did what we did. I didn't have money to pay a real writer. But by the time we got it to Sony, they loved it.
What was it about the character you really liked? Because he's not your usual hero as such, is he? He's a bit of an anti-hero.
Well, I do like anti-heroes, and you can see that in a lot of the stuff I do. Listen, obviously Boyka was a big success for me. Yeah. And the first time I tried to play a straight-laced American hero, Ninja One, it was all a bit bland, to be honest. Now, I've figured it out since. But when I did Ninja One, I was like, I'm not very good at playing these characters. Maybe I better do the edgy anti-heroes a bit more, Boyka. So something like Mike Fallon was perfect. And, look, I just love the comic, and I like anti-heroes. I like to see Logan more than I want to see some of the other superheroes.
And sorry, Wayne. I'm just going to ask one question. You said that you adapted the script. Did you do much to make it current for today? Like some of the stuff and the character you've got in there, they seem quite relevant for today?
Well, we had to update it for today. It was a, early 90s comic book. And, times are a bit different. I think it was a little bit very misogynistic. So I wanted to keep Mike Fallon misogynistic, but empower the female characters and make them very strong. Because Fallon, he's not a very nice guy, really. He's got many faults. He's an incredible killer, and in that environment, when it comes to fighting or taking people's lives, he's the man. But in a social environment, as you saw, he's a complete dick. He hasn't got a clue. He's socially inept. So, you know, I wanted people like the Charlie character to be able to verbally run rings around him, and obviously she hits him with that big punch. And, you know, the comic book was quite misogynistic, and so I needed to address that, to update that. Hashtag me too, you know what I mean? Don't coming out at the wrong time.
So was it like a conscious decision to put that fight scene with Amy Johnson where it was? For me, it's like one of the highlight fights in the film, and not just because she's a female, she's clearly got good skills and it seems quite evenly matched. And for me, it's a great delight to see a strong female fighting scene with a guy as well.
Well, I think it's refreshing that I didn't pull any punches either. It's not like I'm taking it easy on her because she's a girl. You know, I'm trying to take her head off, but she's giving as good as she gets, right? But casting Amy was actually originally in the script. There was the oil tycoon, and he had a faceless bodyguard. He was like a samurai ninja type guy. And then it was Sony's idea to say, listen, we want another female character in here, which actually worked out brilliant. So we changed that character to be Amy's character, and we decided to bring her into the beginning in the pub and introduce her there with all the lads. And it actually worked out brilliantly, and that was a great note from Sony to do that.
It works really well.
Yeah.
So you produced and starred in this film. So what were the biggest challenges for you, you know, being both producer and star at the same time?
The stress. You know, it was difficult. There was a lot riding on it for me. I've been carrying this dream around since I was a kid, and I finally get the opportunity to do it. And you're working towards it for so many years, and then it's like, okay, well, you've got 24 days to do this now. Okay, yeah, 24 days. Well, we'll just do the best we can do, and you can prepare as much as you want, but it's not a lot. I mean, my God, it's not a lot, especially when it comes to making action films, because when you have to grab so many different shots to piece the puzzle together with fight sequences and stuff like that. A dialogue scene, you know, you can have 5 pages and you set the cameras up, do one take, you could nail it, you could move on to something else. That's 5 minutes of film. But when it comes to doing a 5-minute fight sequence, that's going to take, if you're going to do it good, that's going to take you 3 or 4 days. I mean, it should take longer, but you know.
Was it really hard for you because you're producing and acting in that film? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, once the film was, I had a lot of help. Ben Jacks was our line producer. He was amazing. Couldn't have done it without him. And Craig Baumgarten, a guy I'd worked with before, Michael J. White's manager, he helped us, you know, get this amazing cast. And, you know, talking to the banks and the financial side of things was all him. But for me, it was optioning the property and getting it to the right people, and then getting a team that could take over the production side, and then I could just concentrate on really the performance of Mike Fallon, but also working closely with Jesse, with an eye towards what the film's going to be and how it should look. And we did work very closely together. But Jesse brought a lot of things to it that added a lot to the film as well.
So you've worked a lot with Jesse.
Yeah, you've worked a lot with Jesse in the past, haven't you? Because you did Savage Dog, and then you've got Triple Threat coming up as well.
Triple Threat, Debt Collectors comes out first.
Debt Collectors, yeah,
which was filmed after Triple Threat. But yeah, no, me and Jesse were like, he's the new Isaac Florentine.
But you know, it's because you had a lot of well-established actors like Michael J. White and Ray Park as well. I mean, since you had such a short time to film it, I was just thinking, like, did you have to maybe call in a couple of favours with them and say, look, can you help me out with this? Or what was it like just working with them and getting them on board and doing stuff with them?
With Michael J. White?
Yeah.
You say? Well, Mike did me a favour. He came on and did this last-minute notice. Really helped me out. I owe him a great deal for that. And Ray Park, you know, I remember meeting him at the Snake Eyes audition for G.I. Joe, and he was so nice, and you know, he's such a nice guy. And what I said to all the lads was, you know, let's not try and play these action hero stereotypes that we're always used to doing. Let's be a bunch of lads in a pub being laddie and having a laugh. You know, and even just before the fight sequence and after, that's what it's like. We're not they're pulling our tough guy faces and all this rubbish. Sometimes, but we try to bring that down again.
Do you think it's time to questions to the audience?
Yeah.
I know some of the audience have some questions. Do we have any hands up to ask questions to Scott, please? You're going to have to shout and we'll repeat them if that's all right, because there's no microphones. How about the gentleman with Beast on his T-shirt?
Okay. Enjoyed the film, by the way. Really enjoyed it. I think everybody else did, just by their reaction. It's a bit of a nerdy question I've got to ask. Most people know you from the Undisputed series of ninja films. But I'd like to know what was in the safe in Home Invasion, and were you channeling a bit of Michael Caine in That's How You Blew the Bloody Door Off?
I'm just glad you didn't ask me about Mile High. But anyway, channeled Michael Caine. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. That's as much as I could channel. Wasn't very good. I don't know what was in the safe. I think he wanted to leave it open, like that, a bit of a Pulp Fiction thing. And but he was a big fan of, the director was a big fan of Michael Caine, so he was happy to let me do that. So, yeah.
What's your opinion of these streaming services at the minute, like Netflix and Sky?
Yeah, look, Netflix is great. I think it's good. I don't think that they should take away from films being released on the theatres. I don't think we should do that. We should let the films come out in the theatres and then they should go to Netflix. Netflix should be like another platform for home video or DVD or something like that. But that's the way it's going, and nothing's going to stop that, right? That's the future. It's a real struggle that people are downloading your films and not paying for them. Don't get me started. Don't get me on a downer. I don't want to talk about that today. But thanks for the question.
Any more questions? Maybe this gentleman here with the black leather jacket, please.
Hey Scott, really enjoyed the film. I know you wrote and produced this film. I was wondering if you ever toyed with the idea of directing it, and if not, what project might want you go direct?
I did think about directing it, but let's be honest, I was absolutely shattered doing that. Apart from when it's young Fallon, I'm pretty much in every scene. The action stuff takes so much out of you, and you got to do it in 24 days. Now look, Mel Gibson was doing a lot of action sequences in Braveheart, and he directed it himself. I'm not comparing myself to Mel Gibson, he's an incredible director. But he probably had about 6 months to do it. To direct and do all the action in 24 days, it would kill me. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it. But I did consider it, but I just think it would be... You would lose a lot if you did that. You'd just be too tired. And to do it, have it be your first directing gig, I do have an idea to direct something, but it would be me in a cameo role. So I don't have to carry the weight of being the lead. If I was going to do it for the first time, that's the way I'd want to do it. So we'll see if that happens or not. It's a way away yet, but it's an idea in the head boiling away. Maybe
if you had longer time to do it as well, rather than the 24 days.
I don't think I'll be getting longer time to do it. But if I can cameo, then that's going to help.
Any more questions? I'm going to speak to this lady here in the corner.
That was amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
When you've got a project coming up, do you get nervous regarding your abilities on screen? Do you ever doubt yourself or question yourself? Or
as a martial artist or as an actor?
As a martial artist.
Yeah, that's a good one, because let's be honest, not getting any younger, there's an expectation to do what you've not to do what you've done before, but to outdo what you've done before. Oh, he's doing the same stuff again. He's doing the same case. Aren't you going to do something new, Adkins? Well, I'm sorry, but it's hard enough to do that. These days it's like, okay, I want to raise the bar. I want to do new stuff. I want to push myself to the limit, but I don't want to get injured. And that's the thing, isn't it? If you get injured, then God, that is miserable for the rest of the shoot. And the train doesn't stop rolling. You've got to get on with it and soldier through and use a stunt double for the fights. But you're not going to be able to do everything. And I hate doing that. I hate using a stunt double for the fights. So yeah, that's a good question. It's always in the back of your head. Don't get injured. But come on, let's push forward. Let's do something new. It's difficult.
That is an interesting question. Thank you for that. Is there? It makes me think. Like, is there anything that you really want to do that you haven't done yet? Is there like a dream thing that you want to do?
That was the dream. There are some other things, but that was the number one. And I'll tell you, my wife can attest to this. When I finished editing, when the editing was done for that, I worked on it so hard, and then the pre-production before, and then it was edited, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. It was like I had a void.
Oh no.
Yeah, I got depressed because I was so much about Accident Man for so long. Once it was done, it was like, well, I don't know what to do with myself now. But yeah, I've got some new irons in the fire.
Good.
Yeah.
Any more questions? This gentleman here has been patient in the black sweatshirt.
Hi Scott, enjoyed the film. Can't wait to get legally pitched to DVD when it comes out 16th of April.
Nice one, mate.
I want to ask about your childhood when you grew up.
Oh no.
That's about your icons that you grew up with, like martial art action stars. Who did you look up to when you was a kid?
Everybody knows this. Van Damme, mate. Van Damme. Recently, Van Damme posted this thing on Facebook. A picture, I'd sent it to a mutual friend. He sent it to Van Damme. And he put this picture up of me in my room with all the pictures of Van Damme everywhere. That was only a quarter of the room. The whole thing was Van Dammaged. And that was actually really quite touching that Van Damme did that. That meant a lot, what he wrote about it. Really cool. Because he inspired me so much when I watched Bloodsport. That was the catalyst for all this. That was when I said, okay, I know what I want to do with my life. And it was a gift. It's a gift to have such a passion and know exactly what you want to do. Even though it's so scary and you're not sure if you're going to be able to, if you're going to succeed. But it was a gift, I think, to know exactly what I wanted to do.
But sometimes it's not important to know how you're going to do it. It's just you know where you want to go and somehow it will work out.
That's it.
Yeah. Great. Another question? Colin.
I was going to say, you've worked with two man a few times now, choreography with fight scenes. Do you find it easier to work with him, or is it getting harder now you've worked together longer to come with new events?
I hate him. He makes me work so hard. This is why I liked him. Swedish, very organised. He will choreograph all the stuff before he gets to the country where we're making the movie. So, you know, there's no moaning about, oh, I need these guys and I need more money, I need more time. He's going to do it back in Sweden. He gets it done with his friends because we don't have the time and money to do it. So he arrives with it all ready to go, already prevised. Also, he doesn't suffer my bullshit. I'm like, it's good enough. Just leave it. I'm knackered. I can't do another one. Do it, Scott. Okay, yeah, you're right. And he pushes me, so we get good stuff. So that's why I love working with Tim. And he's really good at what he does, and he understands how to film it. And I always try and get him in the movies as well. He doesn't like performing anymore, especially if he's behind the camera as well. But it's like, Tim, you got to do it, mate. You got to come and be triad biker. I need to snap your neck. He loved it.
Scott, I'm Southwester, been on the Royal Randall Fan Club. Big fan of yours, and after I heard that you've done this film, I want to put the comic book as well. You're just like,
oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so you're just like the source character.
Oh, thanks.
You're, the film.
I'm going to go and kill someone tonight.
Excellent.
We don't endorse that.
So you acted with a lot of, well-known martial artists and veteran actors. Is there anyone else you might want to act with in the future? Or anyone you have to
Oh, I wouldn't mind having a go at Donnie Yen. Yeah. Come on, Donnie, where are you? Do you want some? Donnie Yen, yeah.
Excellent.
And another question? This gentleman here.
Hi Scott, how long have you been studying martial arts for? And what's your training routine like?
Started when I was 10, judo. Dad and brother did it, so I went along, and I continued taekwondo, various other martial arts, and yeah, I've always done it, always loved it. Naturally good at kicking, and yeah, it's just that's the way life was. I'd never stopped training really, and these days I like to have a routine. I'll normally wake up, take my daughter to school, and then go straight to the gym and get the training out of the way, and then I've got something coming up at the moment, so I'm training twice a day. Doing a lot more yoga actually to stay flexible and strong in certain areas. So yeah, but I love to train, I love to do martial arts, love to weight train, and I hate running.
I think everyone hates running. I hate running too. So,
Yeah.
So we have one last question from one of our team members, actually. Oh, we got one from Dixon too. Let's do that.
Scott, how's it going?
Hello, mate.
Great movie, by the way.
Thank you.
It's great to see the end product, and what I'm just wondering is, the last fight scene was like really intense, and I'm wondering, what you put into that, and how long did it take to film that fight scene?
I think we had 3 days, and it was, I remember when we were getting ready to do Accident Man, and I remember saying, we're going to shoot it in England, and I don't want to do it in the winter, okay? Cut to November, December, and I'm having to do that fight with Tim in the bitter cold. But anyway, the problem was that fight with Amy is in the day, but we only have so much daylight, wintertime, so we needed to shoot the lights in from the window so that we got daylight for the whole working day. And that meant that we couldn't shoot a third of the set. And then there were angles that we couldn't use because we're constantly casting shadows on us from the camera and all this. And of course, you're watching it, you don't realise all this. And there were angles that we would have loved to have got, but we just couldn't do it because the lighting issues. When we did the fight with Mick and Mac, I specifically said, look guys, you've got to light this generically or something so that we can just shoot 360. And they ended up shooting in the lights from above in this wherever we were, town hall. But yeah, there's always issues like that you don't even realise, and especially if it's a low budget film, you got to work with what you got. I mean, like when I'm doing the bit where Mick and Matt come in with the machine guns, and in the script, it's a metal desk and all this stuff. But of course, you end up with them shooting the bullets into the wooden desk. It's the bullets will not go through the wooden desk routine. But you just got to deal with it. But Amy, she is phenomenal. She was the one I wanted for that part. As soon as I knew I was going to do it, so you got to get me someone that can act and fight. I need a stunt woman that's going to be able to keep up with me. I didn't want to sacrifice the fight sequence.
Was it easy to get her on board?
It was, and then the management started being a bit of a pain. But anyway, that's their job. But she wanted to do it, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So what town hall was that?
Sorry? It was in Croydon or something, that was. Was it Croydon? No, it wasn't Croydon. It was somewhere around there, South London. Bromley, yeah? Bromley. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Our stunt coordinator over there, Dan Stiles.
So one last one from our team. Will wanted to know how you got cast for Accidental Spy and what it was like working with Jackie. So.
Yeah, that's going back a bit, isn't it? So the first film I ever did was Extreme Challenge, which was in China, Hong Kong movie. And the director of that is a guy called Stephen Dunway. And he's famous. You'd know him from Enter the Dragon because he is the boy that Bruce Lee slaps on the head and goes, "Never take your eyes off your opponent." So he's like the head of the Hong Kong Stuntman Association, or was. So anyway, he had a relationship with Teddy Chen. Teddy Chen was directing Accidental Spy. Teddy Chen always uses Stephen Dunway. Stephen Dunway came on as action director alongside Jackie Chan's stunt team. I was introduced to Jackie Chan. Did 2 films with Jackie Chan. And recently got invited to the Jackie Chan Action Awards. I didn't even know I was nominated. I thought they're just inviting me, so I went along. As I'm sitting down in the auditorium, there's a lot lost in translation. The Chinese are like, okay, so if we win best film, we'll all go up, and if you win best actor, you go up. I'm like, what? We're nominated. What's going on? I'm nominated. Yeah, you're nominated. Okay. And I ended up winning Best Actor and Best Fight. Jackie Chan's Stunt Team Awards. It was amazing. I remember looking out at all the members of the Jackie Chan Stunt Team, you know, the hardcore old members that you've seen in so many of those movies. Just think, that was amazing. You know, that's better than an Oscar for me, to be awarded by Jackie Chan, because, you know, that's the guy, he's the guy that inspires you. Me, anyway.
And just one quick thing. So, shooting in Asia and then shooting in the West, what's the major differences of shooting on both sides of the world?
They speak in Chinese. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. I need to learn Chinese. They sort of freestyle it. There's no schedule, there's no script. Sometimes there's like an idea of what you're going to do, which is scary. I like to go, if you're prepared, you've got more confidence. That's the way I like to be. So they come up with really inventive stuff on the fly, which can be great and also can be difficult, because I remember doing Wolf Warrior, and they decided on the day, okay, you're going to get shot and you're going to fall off the 6-foot drop. I'm like, okay, have we got 10-foot drop? Have you got a crash mat or something? It's like, no. But what we're going to do is we got this guy with a little thin pad, and he's going to be waiting. But what you want to do, Scott, is make sure you don't drop the gun. The big pad is for the gun, and the little pad is for you. It's a real gun. It's been given to us by the Chinese army. We can't hurt it. Okay. So you've got to make sure you get the big gun into the big pad, and you're going to land on the little one. Okay. So I was that concerned about making sure the gun went where it was supposed to go that I missed the pad, landed on the back of my head. And these are the fundamental differences of working in China and the West. So there you go.
Okay. So I think we're going to have to wrap everything up now because we're running out of time. But once again, on behalf of Fighting Spirit, we want to thank you for coming. It's been a really great night, and we want to thank everybody as well. And also Mockingbird Cinema for being so welcoming to us as well.
I want to thank you all. I appreciate it. Listen, I wanted to see this with an audience, and it was great to hear the way you're all vibing watching it, and I appreciate it. Film meant a lot to me, so thanks for coming and sharing it with me. Thank you. And in Birmingham as well, thanks Mockingbird Cinema. Thank you, Fighting Spirit Festival. Thank you.